Good afternoon, Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered, midday Saturday special. Is the mayor a racist? Well, some of the organizations here in Westchester seem to think so. Let's talk about it. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Freddie Vasquez with Basement Politics Unfiltered. Today, midday Saturday special. Is the mayor a racist? Is Mayor Mike Spano a racist, according to some of the organizations here in Yonkers? Yes, or at least his comments were. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered, midday Saturday special. How's your Saturday going? Mine's it's okay, not too bad. I almost slipped and almost hurt myself actually going to my car. So be careful out there. It's very icy out my driveway. Yeah, be careful. I'm trying to stay inside, stay warm. But anyway, I'm here this afternoon to discuss the recent turn of events. According to some organizations here in Yonkers and Westchester, Mayor Mike Spano's comments in a recent interview were racially motivated. Well, I don't say racially motivated, but had racial undertones or were considered to be racist remarks. Mayor Spano spoke on a radio interview with Phil Reisman. In the interview, he made the comment that Congressman Jamal Bowman should have been arrested for voting no on the infrastructure bill. The comment comes from the conversation that they were having in regards to the potential run or the potential bid for Congress. Mayor Spano is considering it along with DPW Commissioner Tommy Meyer. He did say that if Tommy decided to run, that he may not run. So that's one of the deciding factors. But they got into talking about Mr. Congressman Bowman, and he made those remarks. This set off, a kind of a fury of text messages that I received, people upset, press releases being issued, and I have a couple here that I would like to read from some organizations that have, released them. One of the organization is the, and actually this one is tied to Councilwoman Shanae Williams, also Senator Cousins, Senator Andrea Stewart Cousins, and other successful women here in in our politics here in Westchester and in Yonkers. Also, Shelley Mayer's affiliated with this organization as well, and that is the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus. And they've issued immediately a press release Friday, the 4th, February 2022. Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus strongly condemns the language used by Yonkers Mayor Mike Spano. Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus strongly condemns the language used by Yonkers Mayor Mike Spano as reported in today's Yonkers Times. The statement reflects a fundamental level of disrespect for an African-American elected official and is markedly incendiary in these racially and politically polarized times. It is extremely disappointing that the mayor of Yonkers, who oversees a diverse city that includes a sizable and historical African-American community, has stooped to engage in hateful rhetoric to further his political ambitions. To suggest that a Black elected official should be arrested because he or she voted a certain way is insensitive, despicable, and plays into the narrative of racial disparity in our community, or criminal, I should say, justice system. Representative Bowman and all Black residents of Yonkers and Westchester deserve an apology from Mayor Mike Spano. And it goes on to talk about the organization and what they do and who founded the organization. And just to give, just a shout out there, the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus, the brainchild of Alice C. Scott and Joan Mosley, was founded in 1976. The founding members were determined to expose and fulfill pivotal roles for Black women in Westchester County politics. For over 45 years, the organization has been vital in promoting the inclusion of African Americans, women in particular, in all phases of political process. Yeah, they have 5 chapters throughout Westchester County. So very upset. They issued that press release, and they're demanding an apology from the mayor. Now, do you believe that that was racially, that was racial comments or racist? That the mayor meant anything by that? And I do want to go to comments. As a past president of the Yonkers chapter of the WBWPC, I applaud the organization for an immediate response condemning the remarks of our mayor. And that's Keisha Skipper, member. I'm sorry, your official title within the NAA Yonkers NAACP. I'm sorry, I forget, but you are very involved. They're very involved in a lot of things that's going on here in Yonkers. A lot of the organizations here. We more than deserve an apology. It should be a demand. Yes, and they demanded the apology. The mayor hasn't released anything. He hasn't. I think he did make a comment. I'm not sure, but it wasn't an apology. And I'll see if I can get that up in a minute. But I do also want to read the press release that was issued by the Yonkers NAACP. Yonkers NAACP outraged by mayor's racist remarks. Friday, February 4th, 2022, the Yonkers NAACP Unit 2188 is outraged by the racist remarks and attacks made by Yonkers Mayor Mike Spano against Representative Jamal Bowman during an interview on Thursday, February 3rd, 2022 on WVOX Radio 1460 AM with Phil Reisman and Matt Richter. A mere 3 days after the start of a Black History Month, the mayor of the third largest city in the state of and largest in Westchester County comments that the first Black person to represent the city of Yonkers in the 16th congressional district should have been arrested for not a crime that he committed, but for a vote that he'd taken. The Yonkers NAACP condemns the statement made by the mayor, Spano. We are calling for others to stand with us and Representative Bowman to demand a public apology from the mayor, from our elected officials, civic and community-based organizations, and stakeholders in and around our city. It's time to take a stand. Reverend Frank E. Coleman Jr., president of the Yonkers NAACP, added, historically, Black men have been stereotyped as inferior and nothing more than chattel. I'm sorry, did I say that correctly? From slavery to Jim Crow and beyond, Black men have always been at the brunt of white resentment and anger. The statement from the mayor of Yonkers, Mike Spano, spews out the divisive dog whistles that have too often been seen as misspoken rhetoric. Mayor Spano, at the onset of Black History Month, finds himself at ease to call for the arrest of Congressman Bowman because of his vote on infrastructure without recognizing that his arrest was in direct opposition for the voting rights bill not being passed that impacts Black and brown people. It is not okay to call for a Black man to be arrested for any crime he is not committing. Too often, this has taken place in our history and should not be a rhetoric freely dispersed. Yeah, so, again, that's released from the Yonkers NAACP. Very upset at the comments made by the mayor. So, should the mayor apologize? Were the comments racist? Were his intentions to be racist? Did he have racist intent? Was it racially motivated? And I'm asking, I'm asking you folks. I'd like, people maybe to comment, at some point, if you watch this, and these are strong allegations, right? These are strong accusations, especially in this climate, right? In this political climate, in the climate here in the country. I mean, but has it always ever not been the climate? Right? I mean, this has never not been an issue. So it's never, been a time where it's always been a sensitive thing. And, that, can really affect people, right? If they're labeled, racist, or anti-Semitic, right? That has really affected individuals' careers, has affected their, finances, their lives, right? And maybe deserving so. They should have, been more careful, chosen their words more wisely. But is it always, someone being racist? What they say, comments that they make, are they intentionally trying to be, racist, or intentionally, trying to, as they say, you weaponize the law enforcement against a black man? Is that what the mayor of Yonkers was doing? Right? Was it insensitive? Maybe was it just a lack of thought? Maybe he was just referring to the recent arrest and saying you should have been arrested for voting no on that, the infrastructure bill. Not thinking, and I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just analyzing, trying to unpack everything because this can cause a big problem. It can. It can cause a problem. We don't need any more, racial tensions or any more, issues among black and whites or any other races. We have to find a way to come together and understand what was done wrong. How do we resolve it? How do we move forward? And if that means that the mayor apologizes, then maybe that's what he needs to do, whether or not he felt that the remarks were meant to be negative. Right. And this goes again to speaking towards what I said in previous podcasts. And do the elected officials care what the people think or how they feel? So this is something that, maybe those who speak with the mayor should maybe have a conversation with. There are people upset. There are organizations that are very upset. Right. Just very recently, we've had incidents. George Floyd, you see Black Lives Matter painted in front of the city hall there. So obviously we're going through a lot in terms of race. So at the very least, maybe, some comments. You could come on my show, give me a call. Let's talk about it. I would love that. But, at least it needs to be addressed, right? At least people need to be heard. That's the most basic thing sometimes that people just don't understand. Like, people just want to be validated, right? People just want to be, like that goes a long way. If you just listen to someone and genuinely listen to them, right? Don't just, okay, whatever. No, genuinely listen to their concerns, whether you're right, whether you think you're right or wrong, right? Whether you believe you did something right or wrong. If someone has a concern and you are a public official, people just want to be heard. They want to be validated. They don't want to be ignored, disregarded. Right? I learned this in business. You make a mistake, you acknowledge it, you apologize. I apologize to my clients. I'm sorry. That goes a long way. They're more likely to be more understanding and be able to resolve it, right? So I think that maybe the mayor should at least come out and address it, reach out at least to the organizations that have issued statements, even if it's in private. Everyone doesn't have to be privy to what they discuss, but I think that something should be, said. That's what I think. The mayor of Yonkers should be ashamed of himself. Yeah, well, a lot of people have said that for many different reasons. And maybe I'm just trying to be, but yeah, again, I don't know what was going through his mind. Personally, look, I'm going to give my personal opinion because I get flagged. I get flagged for some of the things I say, and I don't mean any. Personally, I don't think he was meaning that in that way. I don't think that his, and I'm not going to say because of things that he do. I'm not going to say he's not a racist because he was at the DMX party, grinding it up with the majority leader, who's a black woman. DMX is a black artist, right? He was over there, I think, at School Street, right? Does that make him not a racist, right? I have a black friend. I'm not a racist, right? No, I'm just saying. But I don't think that, that was the intentions. I mean, look, everyone has some kind of prejudice. So I'm not going to say that, it's clear. Everyone has somehow, some way has a little prejudice. Let's just be honest all the way, folks. I've had, people that were non-white be prejudiced towards me, right? I've actually had, those of color, African Americans kind of give me discrimination. I'm like, really? You guys are black. You discriminate against me? but I don't think he meant it that way. And I think that he was referring to the recent arrest of Congressman Bowman. But again, I think at the very least, he should acknowledge people's, anger and people's hurt. Right. And I think he should make a comment to that effect at the very least and validate the feelings, that people have about it. And that's what I think. But again, I don't think that. And my concern sometimes is that maybe we, I don't want to it's like The Boy Who Cried Wolf, where, and I'm not saying that there's not something there, that story is more like he was lying. I'm not saying that people are lying, but I mean, like, if you say it too so many times, like, it kind of maybe waters it down a little bit, right? And I don't want every time to always, we got it, that be the, I'm saying, kind of go after that, because then it seems to, like, then people start saying, well, it's always about race. You're always using, because I hear that from people. I hear it's always about race. I always make it about race, and I don't want to things to be watered down, or we not to have credibility when we do claim somebody is being racist, or something is is not right, and it's targeting certain community or whatever. So I'm just saying, we have to really just make sure that is that what that was meant to be, is that how that was being used, and sometimes people, obviously that's a very sensitive subject, very, very sensitive subject for the Black American community, right? So we have to just be careful. But again, it's politics. It's politics. And people just say some crazy things. I mean, look what the campaign and the District 4 with Rubo and Carlos Burgos, and the things that they were saying about his hair, right? And even the former city council president, Mike Cater, for being Arabic, right? Being called a terrorist, and other and other remarks like that, right? So this is politics, and it's crazy. But again, I don't think that the Mike Spano was to that effect with Carlos's hair, or where Mike Cater was being called a terrorist. I just think he wasn't maybe thinking. He didn't think. He just made a comment, and now this is what's happening. But I think he should definitely address it. But I'm gonna say this. I am gonna say what some other people have said, right? Because I get a lot of people that reach out to me from both perspectives, both sides of a coin. And, some are saying, could this be, let me start here. Congressman Bowman does have a relationship with the, NAACP, Yonkers NAACP naturally, as well as the, I'm sorry, the organization, I don't know how to say it all the way, the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus. I know he was at an event not too long ago, where individuals were at that event that are members of these organizations. I know Council Member Shanae Williams was there, her aide, who's very involved in all that stuff. And so some are saying, is this a tactic? Is this a tactic that the congressman maybe is influencing, right? Or is this being, used as an opportunity to kind of maybe smear the mayor who may be running for, or running against the congressman, right? Is this kind of a way to utilize a situation, or maybe some comments that were made by the mayor to kind of attack him and kind of start to weaken him if he decides to actually run and makes it official for Congress? That's what some are saying. Again, I present both sides. Please don't attack the messenger. Don't kill me. I present both sides. I present both sides. To say that should be arrested because you disagree with a position or disappointed by an action is weaponizing the police, even more so when the individual is the mayor of the city and controls local policing. It perpetuates racist systems that have been practiced for far too long. So you're saying that maybe those comments will encourage officers to while on the street, maybe arrest more Black men because, and I'm just saying, because of those comments, then he should have immediately issued a statement and clarify what he meant, but he didn't. Right. And I agree with that. And that's what I'm saying. I think that at the very least, validate, and acknowledge, right? Acknowledge that certain individuals, certain organizations have a problem with the words that you said. And at the very least, would like an explanation, right? At the very least, would like an explanation, being the mayor of the city, and being that so many people are upset. Yeah, I think so. And again, like I said, it doesn't matter if you believe you're right or you're wrong. I just acknowledge, validate people's feelings. And I think that goes a long way. What do relationships have to do with this? Mayor Spano is a life member of the NAACP. Yeah. Well, for what reasons? Why? Why is he a member? Is he a member because is he a member for the same reason you're a member? Is he a member for the same reason, you know, other members are members? Why is he a member? Start there. I'm gonna start there. Um, Look, again, we come to pick sides. It goes to about picking sides. It becomes about color, and that's the thing I'm trying to advocate to remove from our political process, our voting and stuff like that. Let's not focus on the fact that colors, or what gender they are. And this just kind of perpetuates that. But again, I'm trying to understand. I get it. Weaponizing the police against a black man by saying arresting him, but I mean, it's you know, if we were all just no color, right, and he had made those comments, it wouldn't be an issue. Because and he had not made those comments if he wasn't a black man. If he was a white man, would he had not made the comments? You know what I'm saying? Would he, or he's, let's say everything was the same except the color of his skin, right? He had gotten arrested prior for what he was doing with the protesting or whatever. And let's say that, but he was a different color, right? Just not black, not any minority color, just gray, right? Let's say he's gray. And he still have made the comments. More than likely, right? Probably more than likely. So that's what I'm trying to understand. Was it racially motivated? Is it he's just a racist and I'm going to use this opportunity to weaponize the police and maybe influence and encourage, Yonkers police because I am their boss to go after more black individuals, right? So I'm just trying to make the connection, but again, my thing is what I believe strongly in is that because people do have concerns, because people are upset, and because press releases have been issued, right, by organizations that are that do make an impact here in Yonkers and Westchester, that have a huge voice, in our communities. I think that he should at least acknowledge that, acknowledge their concerns, acknowledge their anger, acknowledge their hurt, and reach out to them, right? And reach out and have a conversation. That's what I believe. Validate the feelings of those individuals. That's what I believe, right? But now, in terms of, is it a racist? That I don't necessarily agree. And again, and look, I had people be racist to me. Absolutely, we literally moved out of sold the house, packed up, and left the whole town because of racism. Absolutely, I believe in it, right? I believe in it, right? But that's the world we live in. I deal with also, Puerto Ricans trying to get me CPS on me and destroy my reputation in businesses. So I mean, they were worse actually. That was the worst situation for me, and it was by Puerto Ricans. So it's the world we live in. We got to always be dodging crazy, messed up people. Who are just something's wrong with their brains. Because I want to just love everybody and not see color. But unfortunately, that's not reality, Freddie. It's not the reality. The point is, the mayor's teams are the same people that attacked Mike Cater and Carlos Burgos, and they attacked their race. How many chances or excuses do you give this man and his administration? He is showing you who he is and his administration. No, I look, the stuff against Carlos Burgos with the hair, and Mike Cater, maybe with the terrorist thing. Absolutely, 1,000%, 1,000%. And again, look, I just try to be fair. Like, I want to be fair because I don't want to get to where people are saying Freddie's always attacking, and because then my messages may get lost. Then my credibility as being someone who's trying to be fair, right, and put honest out information gets kind of, kind of erodes a little bit, because it seems like I have a vendetta, and I don't want to have that. I don't want to have that reputation or that be what people perceive me to be. But I also don't want people thinking, oh, he's bought, right? Because that's my promise to people, because I don't want to be bought, and I'm not bought. You know what I mean? And this is not where the mayor called me up because I haven't spoken to the mayor. Yeah, I'm hoping to. Maybe I'll ask him these questions. Maybe he'll come on the show and I'll ask him. I did reach out to City Hall actually about it, right? And I did try to see if I can get some comments from them, and they expressed that they didn't feel that there was anything there that they said was wrong. I think that he was misunderstood, misquoted. It was taken out of context. That was their statements. So I did reach out to them, right? So, but I'm just trying, in my personal, I'm always like, this is why sometimes I get flack. That's why I've been called a Republican sometimes when I'm not in my life, but I get called that because I've been around a lot of people. I've lived in Oklahoma. I mean, I hung out with quote unquote rednecks. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that's what they would call them. And I've hung around with, all kinds of people, blacks from different parts of the country. And they're not the same. You know what I mean? It's different. Trust me. The only thing that's the same is their color. So I've had a unique experience in that, I see things a little bit different. I come from sometimes from a different perspective. Again, my wife is black. My kids are half black. Definitely. I understand that. And eliminating racism begins with acknowledging that these types of statements are wrong. Yeah, but also I think that eliminating racism comes with not always jumping on everything and making it about race, because then that perpetuates the idea of race. It then, like it's like thought creates action, right? Like everything starts with a thought, right? So, and then there's the action, right? So, then there will be, right, racism going on, because it's just we have this energy that we put out there. We put the whole thing. Like, I just believe in that strongly. I mean, God has blessed me to live a life that things that have happened in my life, but I've also thought about these things and I made an active effort towards them. So, when you think and you put energy to something, it's going to happen, right? You're going to materialize that. You're going to manifest it. So I think that we have to start working towards, saying, okay, we have to identify truly what is, racist. Because sometimes, even anti-Semitism, people say things and they get, oh, he's anti-Semitic. If you criticize Israel, right, you're automatically anti-Semite. But Israel is a country. It's nothing to do with the Jews, the religion, right? So I'm just saying that, I don't want to water it down by jumping on everything that, and then that also causes more division in a way, right? Because now people are like, oh, right, you got the individuals that are, supporting not just of the Spanos or the administration or whatever, but just even, white people, right, in the city who just might feel a certain way and be like, okay, so let's maybe approach it, in a different way. Maybe reach out privately. Hey, let's have a conversation. What you said, But again, that's why I also said that the mayor now, at this point, considering that there's, so many people have said public releases have been made, has to acknowledge it, right? Has to acknowledge it. That's all I'm saying. There's no denying the issues between black people and the police in the country. He organized a police reform committee, and you think that the mayor is unaware of the injustices against black men at the hands of police? No, I don't think that he's unaware of that. I'm not saying what he's unaware or aware. What I'm saying is that, the comment, when you're talking to people and you say, like, the idea in his head was that he was arrested prior for this protest. He should have been arrested for voting no on this bill. It, like, the idea of racism, I truly genuinely believe and did not enter his mind, or even it was that was what his focus was. So now that people have pointed that, because honestly, I bet you if nobody has said anything about it, nobody would have thought anything about it, right? They would have it would have moved on. No one would have been, but there are organizations that, they see that, and maybe, like, some people are saying to me, Freddie, there's maybe some reason why this is happening, may have ulterior motives for it, right? For it being an issue this big, is what I'm saying. When maybe it was taken out of context. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So, so do we have to really like, I just don't see that. Like, to me, that I don't know. I just don't see that, to me. And look, I had every hurdle I had to overcome. All right. So, I mean, racism was one of them. Okay. So I've experienced it. I mean, I live with my grandparents. My mother was not around. She was, incarcerated. So I was being raised with them. I spoke English. They took me to places, right, so I can translate for them at a very young age. Absolutely. I knew about racism because I saw the individuals who were white talking down to my grandparents. And I didn't like it as a kid. It bothered me. It bothered me very much, and that's what I'm saying. I manifest things in my life because I always said I'm going to put myself in a position where they're not going to talk to me like that. They'll never talk to me like that. And lo and behold, right? So I concern myself less with trying to change people, and more so with me trying to make sure that I change myself, right? And I put myself in a position where, your words can't do nothing to me. Your words can't affect me. And you won't say that to me in my face, right? And I've made it to where nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop me. And so that's what I'm saying. So let's, we got to focus more on that energy, putting that energy out, And I think that would do more good for us, than kind of harping on every little word, especially sometimes when I don't know if that was necessary. And I'm gonna get flagged for this. I know people are gonna hate me. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I just have to speak what I feel. I apologize. I don't want to offend anybody. That's never my goal. But at least we have conversation and dialogue, right? That's always the goal, right? Racism is not an idea. No, it's not. It's not an idea. It's a very real thing, right? But so is a lot. Racism, you know what racism is? Racism is a form of hate, right? Racism is a form of hate. And there are many forms of hate, right? Racism is just one form. People hate people because maybe they're a woman. People hate people because maybe they have money, or maybe because they hate poor people because they just, they have money. They don't like poor people. I don't know. Or people hate people because, like I've had people in my family hate me because, I was in a position that they weren't in, and I have people in neighborhoods, friends, people I grew up may hate me because of that. Right. It may do things to try to sabotage me by, saying things or whatever. So hate is just racism is just a form of hate. It's just one many ways, so we have to kind of let's focus on the message of love. Let's talk about love. Let's say, listen, maybe the mayor wasn't thinking or whatever, but I don't know if that was, to go away and say he's being a, racist and all that. I think that's taking it a little too far, maybe. You assume that individuals haven't attempted to discuss inequalities in our city with the administration. No, I didn't assume that. I'm talking about this specific issue. I'm talking about reach out to him about this incident. And I don't know, maybe you did. Maybe you did that. I don't know. But I'm saying reach out to him and say, hey, Mayor, what do you mean exactly by the statement? It could kind of be misconstrued, or, if you meant it, then it is what it is. But, it could be misconstrued if that's not what you meant in this way. Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you haven't about other issues. I'm sure you have. Again, this has been ongoing issue since how long? Forever. Right. Forever. Since the beginning of time. We've always, with his religion, with his race, with his, whatever. There's always been something with humans. Humans just gotta just dislike each other for some reason or another. What about the microaggressions that are not as overt? Racism is not always in your face. No, yeah, absolutely. 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 It's not always in your face. And there are things, that are done, or systems or laws or whatever, or whatever. I get that. There's always going to be obstacles, and it's going to always be hard for a minority individual. It is. It is. Listen, white people, it's hard for us. As a minority, it's super hard for us, right? That's all we're saying, right? We're saying that, especially if you're a minority that grows up poor, it's not easy. It's not easy just to go to school, get good grades, go to college, and come out of college and get a job. It doesn't work like that for most of us. It just doesn't. It doesn't work like that because we have so many obstacles for one reason or another. For one reason or another, and we're not asking you to feel sorry for us. We're just telling you what it is. And I'm not talking about all white people on generalize, but there's some individuals that maybe don't understand that, because I've heard that, I need to just, do this. But it's just not that easy. And there's so much, like Keisha said, racism that's not in your face that does affect us. That does affect whether or not we grow up to be successful in life, whether or not, we make it to 21. That's a very real thing. Trust me, I've seen many, many, many Hispanic and Black kids. I'm calling kids 21. They didn't make it to 21. I know a lot. So I think that what we need to do is focus on, we have to focus on, the kids in being, looking to positive stuff, right? There's always going to be racism. There's always going to be something. It's going to be something. Trust me. There's going to be racism. There's going to be this. There's going to be that, right? And I just want to focus on how do we just get to this point to where they're successful, and let's focus on, yes, this is going to, be there. We know that, that's going to be there. We have drugs in our community that need to be addressed, mental health issues that need to be addressed, right? That are even more pressing, issues within our family units, within our communities that we need to address, that are way more pressing than Mayor Spano's comments. And that's just what I believe. We're not going to see the change that we want, by focusing on other people, because we can't control what other people do. So I've always said, let's focus on what we can control. Okay. And you know what? If they're racist comments and he's a racist, guess what? In 2 years, unless he does a fourth term extension, won't be the mayor anymore. And anybody else that you believe is a racist that's within our city government, they'll be up for election at some point. Vote them out. You know what you could do that's really, really proactive? Get people to come out and vote, right? That's the energy. That's where you put the energy. Get them out to vote and vote these individuals out. And once you get the right individuals in there, then you can start to change the system. That's like the Trojan horse, right? Then you change the system from within. Because how many years we've been protesting, how many years and how many press releases. And I'm not, again, it's not trying to, nothing negative. I'm just saying. And we're still here in 2022. We're still here. So we have to find a different way. And we do that by focusing our energy on empowering, our Hispanic and Blacks, young people, the youth, empowering them. Don't focus on these obstacles. We know they did. Don't focus on the fact that they could, all this stuff. We're going to focus on how we're going to go through them. We're not going to even see them. We're like, whatever. You're not going to stop me. I don't care. You're not going to stop me. And that's what I want to, and that's what all I'm saying. Let's focus our energy on that, making sure we empower the youth, the Black and Hispanic youth, so that they understand that, no matter what, with all these obstacles, particularly of racism, you can still be somebody. You can still make it. You can still be Congressman Jamal Bowman one day. You can still be Barack Obama one day. You can still be Tyler Perry one day. You can still be Oprah Winfrey one day. And you can still be like all the ladies on the Yonkers City Council one day. A council member to represent your city and make the change that you see needs to be changed. And if that change is in terms of racism, then do it. We welcome all those who seek positive change in the community. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. Thank you for the conversation. I appreciate you folks joining me tonight, or I should say this afternoon, for the midday special. Please join me tomorrow night. I will be back. Man Spano, I think you should have something to say to the people. Again, whether you were right or wrong, or whether you believe you're right or wrong, at the very least, the people need validation. They are hurt. They are angered by your statements. Please acknowledge that fact. Reach out to the individuals and the organizations that issued the press releases and resolve the matter. I think that's at least what you owe as the mayor of the city of Yonkers. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Have a beautiful and blessed Saturday. Enjoy. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Thank you for joining me for the Saturday special. Listen, it's all about having a conversation, coming together peacefully, uniting to resolve the issue. As long as you want positive change, regardless of how you feel on a topic, positive change will happen as long as you're open-minded and willing to discuss the issues. Thank you very much. Game over.